Welcome to our first episode of Revive Review, where we're going to take a deep dive into branding and marketing efforts of high school sports departments. I'm one of your hosts and co-owners of Revive Solutions, Eric, and today I'll be joined by one of our other co-owners in charge of creativity, Zach, to review the efforts of a local high school sports department. Zach's a high school broadcast teacher and coach with years of experience in broadcast and graphic design. Zach, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm just looking forward to discussing how to implement and kind of how to brand yourself at a high school level. We're going to take a look at some different things that a school to be named has to offer. So let's get this thing rolling.
Sounds great. So just a real precursor to what it is that we are going to attempt to do here on Revive Review is that each set episodes, we're going to select a random high school sports department. We're going to go through a live branding assessment using their current website and social media presence and really highlight what they're doing well and provide maybe some solutions to improve their school's brand. Now let's get started today with today's review. We're going to be featuring Desoto High School in Desoto, Missouri. Let's go take a look at their efforts and see what the experts think.
And first and foremost, we're going to take a look at their website. Going to Desoto High School, they are the Dragons. Right off the bat, very clean, very prominent, very user-friendly. I've got everything across the board that I need up top, whether it's fall sports, winter sports, spring, photos, where to watch, a calendar, a shop. That green color sticks out, and Desoto being the Dragons, they've got a very catchy logo, room for opportunity there. We'll talk about that in a second. But the only thing is I deep dive into this website. I'm clicking on boys varsity basketball here. And although at the surface they've got things reported, I kind of get into it. I'm looking at their schedule. They've got games listed, but 4 or 5 kind of results posted, and that's midway through February, a couple games in February, all away games. So I'm looking, I don't know Desoto's record straight off their website. Same thing for football, kind of just lacking some depth and information, but overall very eye-catching at first and kind of on brand with what they're wanting to do with that prominent green color.
Absolutely. Looks like they're using Varsity News Network as a template here. Great company. Does a great job of putting everything together for you, especially if you're, a one-man band, if you're just the AD responsible for all this. But I think that brings a good opportunity here to talk about stakeholders, maybe how to get those updates working a little bit faster. I think you got to invite more people on board, especially, those diehards, those folks that you don't have to ask a whole lot and they're going to be there, they're going to show up. Mm-hmm. This gives a great opportunity to give some of those stakeholders a real role with the program, and they can do some really simple stuff like updating scores and maybe creating some posts or some stories to be able to kind of help bring that brand a little bit more live and at least keep it current.
And score reporting, I think, just goes a long way. It's as simple as sending in a score, making sure it's posted, making sure it's updated, because people are looking for that information, and having it readily available on your website is always key for kind of keeping the community and keeping the fans engaged and happy.
Absolutely. And you touched a little bit on this logo. I think we maybe need to kind of talk about that. Dragons, not a very common logo. Definitely an opportunity, I think. This looks like something a little bit older. Could maybe deal with a little bit of a rebranding effort there, maybe find somebody, even make it a competition, maybe open it up to the community. There's a really strong graphics community out there that, will offer their expertise and offer their help. And if you find something that you like, you can kind of start going down that rabbit hole with some of those, professional designers.
And looking at branding too, as I click over to the basketball side of things, it looked like they have more of a distinct basketball logo with a kind of a Detroit style script D that I'm seeing. I don't see anywhere else on the website, so maybe kind of collaborating with sports and finding that kind of common ground. So you're talking about DeSoto sports distinctly based on whether it's a script D or a dragon head of some sort, but kind of just having that commonality between the sports, I think can go a long way within the community.
Yeah, and you'll hear it from us a lot. Consistency and frequency. That's one of the things that you can control. As an athletic director, is making sure that hey, we're going to use green as our primary color, which is a great color to use with this. There's kind of limited amounts of that green. And then also, hey, this is our logo. We don't want to veer from this. We're going to use this 90% of the time, and the other 10, that opens it up then for that freedom if you want to do, a cure for cancer, customize something like that. But really sticking to that consistency and then being really frequent about it. Like this is going to be the only thing that we're going to use.
I think too, props to DeSoto for having this displayed on their front page and going on the consistency and relevancy kind of theme here. We got some stories out here, but they're all published in May. I think just kind of having that set up is the first step, obviously, but kind of keeping to that. And it looks like we don't have any kind of stories from this year. I know fans always love to see that as those come in and as things happen throughout the year. But it looks like we've just got some late signings in May that they're kind of highlighting on their homepage.
All right, well, we've raised some really great points here, Zach, but overall, it seems like this high school sports department has made some pretty significant strides utilizing technology. Room for improvement.
Yeah.
But definitely their marketing and their branding efforts are on a path, and that's important here. So we're going to take a second here and go ahead and switch over to social media. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and we're going to take a look at DeSoto High School in DeSoto, Missouri, on how they're utilizing social media. Real quick Twitter search, that's where we usually start, is going to find DeSoto High School's main page at DeSoto HS 73. And right away, one of my pet peeves when utilizing social media is how is the continuity with that tagline or that username. Obviously, you can make the title whatever you want, and I think that's where you flex your creativity for the programs, but you want that handle to have some sort of commonality across all of your programs, and that's got to be started from the top down. So as I'm looking here in the followers and folks that are following this DeSoto High School account, right away I see the activities account, which is DE_Soto, and right away we're already having some things that are kind of misaligning.
Yep.
And then as I start going through the list here, I'm seeing everything from DeSoto 73, which there is a little commonality there. There are programs that have bought into that DeSoto 73, but then I have a DHS and Dragons, and I see all sorts of other things. So right away, there's a really quick fix that costs no money, a little bit of time, maybe a quick conversation. I think everybody can get on board with.
Let's take a look kind of in what you talked about with social media, especially, is being able to kind of have that common ground for the community in that outreach. I think they've done a good job creating that cohesive brand across, like we kind of talked about. But, high school sports are all about that community, and social media is a great way to connect the fans and supporters, sharing stories, student athletes. It looks like they've got a couple stories built in throughout. One other thing I really noticed with that is their hashtags and tags that they have within that, whether they're calling out another Twitter account, who they're following, kind of making sure that the public is aware of kind of their brand and what they're standing on.
I'll go back to here. As I'm looking back, I've switched over here to the activities account at DE_Soto Dragons. Good job. They've got something in the bio. That's a right away thing for me. It could be the official account of, and you can just leave it at that. Obviously, there's some opportunities there to be able to add, your slogan, your brand statement, a pivotal hashtag. If you wanted to use that space up, that's free advertising. That really sets the stage for anybody that's going to be accessing these main accounts. And then again, great job. They've linked directly to DeSotoDragons.org, which takes us back to their website. I do notice there's a little bit more updated information here on the Twitter account than we were seeing on the webpage. Yeah,
and it takes you to the webpage. However, it was a struggle to kind of find that directly from the webpage. But going through their Twitter and their X, I'm able to click on those stories and they pop right up. They generate for me. So I think just kind of having that fluidity between the two is an area to improve on, but I do see their hashtag Dragon State of Mind that kind of pops up here and there. And again, a great opportunity to throw that in a banner or have that within the bio within an X account or across multiple social media accounts.
Exactly. It goes back to that consistency and frequency piece. If that's what we're going to hang our hat on, if that's going to be our hashtag or our slogan, boy, we want everybody to know it. Yep. We want our opponents to hate hearing it because when we've reached that point, then we know that we've done a good job of carrying the message, and then continue to take it just the next step. So, if they get tired of hearing it 10 times, make sure you say it 15. Real quick, I'm going to go through the followers here. They've done a good job of following local media. I think that's an important piece for our high schools, especially with our local papers and stuff kind of going to the wayside here. Having a good following and also reciprocating that, is showing them love, because that's kind of a hidden piece of high school sports that maybe we've taken for granted. And now the fact that you've got some of these larger districts that are losing that, they're realizing how important that piece was to the sense of community.
They've done a good job of tagging those kind of media outlets as well. A lot of St. Louis sports media outlets, they're tagging within their game updates and their score reports as well.
Good job, Fawn. I've got some coaches on here. Looks like some common opposing teams. I think it's important. I think some people, weigh whether or not I should be following an opposing team. I would say, those common opponents, definitely understand. Just because we're posting things about our school doesn't mean that we don't want to draw eyes from the folks that we're playing either. They're also looking for information, and I'll tell you, it's a great opportunity. If you're doing a better job than your rival, here's a great opportunity to kind of flex, let their fans see how well you're doing it, and it's like the sixth person on the court. Then it's that little extra that you're doing that really doesn't take much more time to be able to at their student section or at their fan section when you're giving valid information. I certainly wouldn't do it celebrating a final score, but all of your pregame info, where the game's being played, time, special events, I think that goes a long way in providing that for your opponent.
I think just kind of scrolling through too, a room for opportunity for the DeSoto program and their official Twitter, what I would say would be a kind of a lack of graphics and a lack of media kind of inputted within their tweets, within their posts. We do have pictures here and there, but kind of finding that theme or that pattern or that vibe you want to roll with. They have a great hashtag with the Dragon State of Mind, and kind of starting to implement that within their posting and reports. Great pictures here and there, but I think definitely room to kind of sprinkle in that kind of statement piece that you want to make.
Absolutely. It goes back to finding those stakeholders. Who's somebody that is always setting up for these events or is always in attendance at these events? Thinking outside the box. Maybe it's a custodian, that you're asking, hey, could you just slip in and grab a couple extra shots, take a few photos, or grab me a quick video? The supervision principle. I know that's something that we've utilized a lot, is giving them permission to access our social media accounts, or shoot me a quick photo or a video after a game. It's amazing at what something like that can do just to dress up things like a news report or an updated score on your social media. Well, that looks like we've kind of hit our time here. Some great points being made. I think a great first episode here. That's going to wrap up our review, and I want to thank Zach for joining us today and sharing your insights. It's a pleasure kind of hearing things from a creative aspect. I know we bounce a lot of things off, and that's what makes this work so well.
Yep.
And I want to thank you, the listeners, for tuning in to Revibe Review today. If you want any information on Revibe or the services that we provide, you can check us out at revibesolutions.com. You can also find us on Twitter at Revibe Solutions, also on Instagram, Revibe_Solutions. And if you are interested in any of the things that we're talking about or want to provide these for your program or school, you can reach out to us at info@revibesolutions.com. All right, so join us next time as we review another high school sports department in their branding and marketing efforts. And until then, keep supporting your local teams and stay connected with us on social media.
We'll see you next time.